Hi, my name is Amy Thomas, and I'm a Dell Tech alumni. Miss Chris asked if I would make a video to kind of share my experiences about where I started and where I am now, in hopes that maybe it would help a few of you guys feel a little more comfortable with school and with your choices. So I did not hesitate, even though it took me a little while to make this video because right now I'm a very busy person, but anything for Miss Chris. So let me start with telling you a little bit about myself. I graduated with my associate degree in nursing and my associate in applied science from Dell Tech in 2020. It was not easy. It's not an easy road at all. So some of you might be thinking that you don't know if you're going to be able to do this, that you don't know if you're going to be able to survive school, because most of you guys are here in Dell Tech because you have to work for a living. Some of you may have kids to support, some of you may have husbands to support, and some of you husbands may have wives to support and children to support as well. Don't discriminate. Everybody has to support somebody, even if it's just yourself. Basically, there's several different types of learners, and that helps you determine what kind of learner you are, is if you know what kind of learner you are. So that's the first thing you need to do, find out what kind of learner you are. But before I talk about that, I'll tell you a little bit more about myself. So I worked full-time while I was in school, 40 hours a week. I used to go to work before school started. I'd come to school. I'd work after school. I would be at the library until 10 p.m. at night when it closed down. I would sit in the little place outside the bookstore and sit there and study. Had study groups, whatever it took. Because I have children. Me and my husband both work. So I had to figure out a way to make it work. Because I'm one of those students that need to dive in completely. I need to be engrossed in what I'm doing in order for me to really dig in and know what's going on. I don't want to know just what it is. I want to know why it is. I want to know how it works, and I want to know every single detail I can find out, because I need to wrap my head around the whole rationale in order to take that away and use it later. I also, when I was first in A&P 1, they had what was called supplemental instruction, and I attended every session I could. It was a huge help, and I'm very sad that we're not doing it right now, because after I did it for my first class, they asked if any of us would like to be instructors as well, and I love to teach, so I jumped right on that. And it was so rewarding, and I felt a connection with every student that came to my sessions, and I try to make it fun, try to make it interesting, because sometimes school is boring. And sometimes it helps if you can laugh a little bit while you're learning something, then you can remember it better. So with that being said, I was in Mrs. Chris's class as a student and as her supplemental instructor as well. So I know the ins and outs of both sides. And if you get a chance to do supplemental instruction when they start it up again, hopefully I can help out with that again, please jump on it. If not, make a study group. Whether you get together in Zoom or you get together in person, get together, study. Different perspectives from somebody else's point of view can really help you learn. And sometimes what we also have to do to learn is we have to cut off the world. I am one of those people that I need to cut off the world. If you want something, you have to sacrifice for it. You really need to be able to walk away from all your fun, partying, walk away from movie night, date night, every night. There's really no getting around it. You could be a mediocre student or you can be a really good student. If you're a really good student, the more you are getting good habits for yourself to learn, the easier the next classes will be. You have to be able to do every semester like it's your first. Go into it the same enthusiasm. Don't dread it. I know everybody hears all these things about instructors. Most of them are not true. Some people just don't take away the same thing from every instructor. Every instructor teaches the way they teach because it's the way they can convey their message. They may tell stories. They may tell anecdotes. But they're telling you something in that. You need to pay attention to what they're telling you because they're giving you hints. They're giving you tips without you even realizing it. You can record their lectures. You can take notes on your computer. You can take notes on pen and paper. I was one of the people that's sitting in the corner. I had my laptop. I had my colored pens, colored pencils, markers, highlighters, the whole 9 yards. I asked a million questions. Ask questions. Don't feel like your question's stupid because the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. If anybody has a problem with it, you tell them to go somewhere and they can just sorry, I'm Italian. So with that being said, every semester I would make a post on my social media, tell my family, goodbye. I will see you when the semester's over. Please know that if you're having a barbecue or parties, or please don't invite me. If you invite me, know that I'm not coming. Know that I have to do this for my family. I want my family to have a better life. In order to do that, I can't socialize. And that sucks. And we miss that part. And you kind of feel like you're cheating yourself and you feel bad because you feel like you miss your family and they miss you and they may not understand. They may not. They probably won't, be honest with you. I know a lot of my family didn't understand. They did afterwards. Because they knew that's what I had to get there. I mean, they knew, but they just hated, can't you take an hour and come? No, I can't. Every waking moment was studying. Every waking moment was making note cards. Every waking moment was reviewing for an exam, making exam preps, doing Quizlets, any little thing I can get my hands on, because that's what kind of student I needed to be. But like I said, you get to choose what student you want to be. You can either be a mediocre student or you can be a really good student. The choice is always yours. And sometimes college isn't for everybody. And you get into this and you figure, well, college isn't for me. That happened to one of my daughters. She decided that college wasn't for her. Was I upset? Yes, I really was. But I realized everybody has to have their own path and their own way. And maybe should get around to it. I was one of those people that I had children very young in life. I got married very young in life. And I had to support my family. And there was no time for me to get educated. I tried a couple times, but it just never worked out. It wasn't the right time. So the right time was in my 40s. So I was starting my next career very late in life, but it's okay. Whenever you're starting, you could be 60. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy, if that's what you want to do, then you do it. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. But basically, the way I started out is I had an ex-husband, who's ex now. He got hurt on the job. And I wanted him to have a normal life, so I took care of his wounds, took care of his illness, and that got me interested in medicine. Before that, I was an accountant. Believe it or not, I love numbers. Math is the universal language. But anyway, so I then moved closer in town than where I was at the time, and I joined the fire department. And at the fire department, I became an EMT because I was really interested in medicine. I figured that was a good way to get my feet wet. After I became an EMT, I became a firefighter, which I really loved to do. Then for many, many, many years, I worked as a paid EMT firefighter for different fire stations here in Delaware. And I worked as far down south as down here in Sussex County, and I've worked all the way up in Wilmington. So I have seen the state up and down through EMS, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I've made a lot of great memories, great connections. I've seen things that are wonderful, and I've seen things that are terrible. But that's what you get into when you get into medicine. But me, I'm the type of person that I always want to challenge. I get stagnant, I get bored. So after a while, I was like, well, I want to do something else. And at the time, I was working in Wilmington, living down Sussex County, and the drive was getting to me. I was getting tired on my way home. And I got very interested in this dialysis unit that was in Wilmington because just I was watching them work, and we'd pick up patients from there sometimes, because where I worked, sometimes you did non-emergency runs and sometimes you did emergency runs. So when I did the non-emergency runs, we were at the dialysis units, and I got really interested in the kidneys, and they intrigued me a lot. So I started becoming interested. Well, maybe I want to work at a dialysis unit instead of doing this full time as EMT and EMS. So that's what I did. I learned every single job there was in a dialysis unit. And when I left the dialysis unit after 10 years of being there, I was a transplant coordinator, I was a lab tech, I was a safety officer, I was a preceptor. And I just learned everything I possibly could until I exhausted it. And then I needed a new challenge. So while I was still working as a dialysis technician, I was still working part-time as an EMT. I decided to go to nursing school. Now, I've thought about this before, and it just never panned out. Like I said, it just wasn't the right time. And, things line up in the world when they line up in the world for a reason. And when it's your time, and you shoot for it. And I sacrificed everything I could. There was times when I didn't know how I was going to make ends meet. There was times when I had to borrow money from people because I wasn't going to be able to make the bills. Because even though I was working full time, I couldn't work any overtime. I was going to school. Even though I got financial aid, it didn't cover everything because, of course, I worked full time. And, I'm too old to have anything that my parents could contribute. And really, that was the hardest part for me, was asking people for help because it sucked. But I knew it's what I had to do. I had to sacrifice my pride to do what I needed to do. I mean, I've not had an easy life. Having kids young, I know some of you sitting there in the class or probably understand that feeling. Like, there was times in my life where I would fix dinner for my family and I would let them eat first. And if there was anything left over, then that was what I ate. If there wasn't anything left over, then I didn't eat that night. So I understand the struggle, and I know the sacrifice. And that's why if you're going through that now, being here in school, there's a pantry on campus. Please take advantage of it. Please don't be afraid to reach out. There's a lot of resources in school that I didn't have access to when that was going on in my life. And there was a couple times I was going to access a pantry when I was in school there. But thankfully, things worked out one way or the other, where something came through. I was able to work a little bit overtime because I knew there was people that probably needed it more than I did. At least that's what I thought at the time, because I'm one of the people that I think about everybody else before I think about myself. And sometimes it's a good trait, sometimes it's a bad trait. But I conquered through, and I graduated the nursing program with honors. But I worked hard for it. I remember when I took the NCLEX after I was done and it shut off, minimal questions. Doesn't mean anything. If you get all the questions, it's not a big deal either, because it depends on that last question whether or not you get your nursing license. So don't fret it. Just make sure you're prepared for it. But that last question came, the screen went blank, and I am by no means a crier, but I sat there and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, just because all the stress from all the years. I started school in 2016, and here I am. It was 2020. This pandemic had started, and I just didn't ever see an end coming, and the end was finally here. Whether or not I passed or failed, I thought to myself, it's over. You know what I mean? If I failed it, I could always take it again. But school was done, for now anyway. But I passed, and so now I am a registered nurse at Peninsula Regional, Title Health, whatever you want to call it now. I chose that because there's a lot of opportunities for growth there. They have a lot of different programs. And because I am experienced in dialysis, I work med-surg neurofloor as well as the dialysis unit there. So I got my hands on a lot of stuff. I'm a charge nurse there, relief charge, and I am a preceptor. I also am on several committees. So all of you people that think school ends, it doesn't end, because I am back in school again. I am almost at my bachelor's. I plan on getting my doctorate. I want to be the one that says, hello, my name is Dr. Thomas, and I will be your nurse today. And then I want to come back and teach. I really enjoyed that aspect of Del Tech. I really enjoyed the teaching part they let me do, and I found it very rewarding. So hopefully I can come back and do that soon. But I wanted to reach out to you guys and let you know that you're going to struggle. There's going to be days where you don't feel like you're able to do it, and that's okay. However, you will. So I hope this helps somebody. And that's my husband, our bird. But, you know, we've been able to have a better life now. Our life has improved immensely. We went through hell to get to heaven, so the sacrifice is worth it. It will be for you too. So when you're feeling like you don't know where your next breath is going to come from because you're having trouble understanding something, or you don't know how to study for something, reach out to the instructors. Reach out to another student. Prepare yourself. Help yourself. Don't struggle alone. It's all going to be worth it in the end. Whether or not, like I said, you're 20, 18, or 60, it doesn't matter. Whenever you start your journey, you start your journey. And if this is a second journey for you, like it was for me, then ride it. You're gonna kill it. And pay attention to what these teachers tell you. They're giving you more hints than you think. And they are very open, and there's lots of resources. So please take every single one. Don't feel like you can't ask for help. But enjoy your semester, enjoy your season, and hopefully you'll see me on campus in an SI session sometime. That'd be really nice. So, all right. See you guys later.